guest. He insists that he'll never try to pick up another woman in an elevator, and he's learned not to compliment his dates on their jewelry. And he's tired of being used only for his connections. Please welcome Mark Rasmussen. There you are, Mark. How are you, buddy? Have a seat, sir. Thanks for being with us. Now, what kind of connections do you have that women use you for?
Well, I publish a magazine. It's a nightlife magazine, a no-cover magazine, and what we do is we cover nightclubs, bars, raves. I get free tickets to concerts, shows, events. One of the things I do is I meet these girls in the clubs, and they find out, and they want to take advantage of that and say, can you hook me up to this show? And I do, and, you know, we go out, and next day I call them, and I don't get to return.
Ah, so they got what they wanted, they're done.
I got it.
All right.
I got it. I feel used.
Now, what's the problem with elevators, picking up women on elevators?
Well, I thought it would be a good thing, thinking I could jet out of there quickly if they said no. But I tested it out. I was working as an intern, and I was going up the floor. I met this wonderful lady, started talking to her. I'm thinking, here's my chance. I ask her out. She gets off on the same floor. She turns out to be my boss.
That's a little awkward. Yeah. Now, why won't you compliment a woman on her jewelry?
I had a blind date. I was set up with someone, and I knew she was sitting at the corner of the bar and what she was wearing. And when I first saw her, I was blown away. I was like, this girl's really nice, really hot. And I didn't know what else to say, so I figured I'd compliment her on her jewelry. I saw she had what I thought was a nose stud. It turned out to be a wart.
All right. Just picture that, if you would, folks. Let's take a look at the women that Mark had to choose from. And remember, you guys are going to pick the woman that you think is best for him, so pay attention. First, there was Tiffany. She was born in Orlando and raised in Boston. She describes herself as zesty and wild, and she admits she needs to learn to calm down. She's looking for a man who isn't too skinny, and here's something else she's not looking for.
They can't be mama's boys. That's another thing, living out here. Guys that are too clean, that are cleaner than me, I think there's problems. I just don't. I think I've dated several mama's boys now, and besides just not being wild enough, not wild, but open enough to what you're talking about anything, you know, the mama's boy, just, I can't date that anymore. There's just, there's something wrong with him.
All right, next there was Betsy. She moved here from Chicago, and she dates about once a month. In her spare time, she enjoys running and kickboxing. She admits that sometimes men find her overbearing. Here's more on that.
I'm very outgoing, I'm very outspoken, and a lot of people aren't necessarily ready for that. So if I can, when I say overbearing, I don't mean in a hugely negative way. It's just my normal way of being, but a lot of people just don't exactly know how to take it, and they kind of go, whoa, who's this girl?
And finally, Christine. She describes her recent dates as long and boring. She says that she's looking for a tall guy with a truck who will take her country line dancing. And Christine tells us about a recent experience.
I met this guy, and we left a bar, and we went out to breakfast, and we exchanged pager numbers, and he paged me like 10 times the next day. He blew my pager up like for the next 3 days, and it's like, okay, if I don't call you back the first time, get the hint, okay?
All right, guys, those are the three women that Mark had to choose from, and it's time for you guys to vote. Make your choice. All right, the votes are in. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll meet the woman that Mark selected and hear all about their date. Come on back. All right, we're back. So, Mark, tell us who'd you select.
I chose Tiffany.
Tiffany. All right. There she is, Tiffany Walker. Hi, Tiffany. Ah, the audience likes Tiffany. Thanks for being with us.
Hi.
It's a little hard to tell us about your date, Mark.
Well, it started off as Halloween, so we decided I would meet her at her place. I drove down there. I saw her in her like little apartment area, and she was looking hot. She was looking sexy.
Yeah.
She had this wonderful skin-tight Catwoman outfit, and I was blown away. I was, wow, taken back.
Yeah.
I recognized her from her video. I waved, I said hi, and she bolted right up into her apartment, and she went and she changed her outfit.
Oh, really? Now, why did you take off and change so fast, Tiffany?
Well, I was practicing sitting down and standing up, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't even get into a car if I wanted to, so I had to change.
And what happened next, Mark?
Well, then I went and I changed into my costume.
Uh-huh. And what was your costume?
He was a priest.
I see. So then what happened, Mark?
Well, I called and made reservations at a really nice restaurant. We had the reservations, and we went down. We were driving, and we saw another restaurant where Tiffany decided that she might want to go, and I said, okay.
All right. What restaurant was that, Tiffany?
It was like the biggest KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken I have ever seen. I had to go. It was like 3 stories high. This was a beautiful building. This would make you want to eat chicken all day long. I got a bucket, you know. It was great.
Yeah. So the kitty wanted chicken.
Yeah. Well, she's a beautiful girl, as you can see, and, you know, and she's spontaneous, and, you know, the girl likes a bucket of chicken. How can you refuse that?
All right. So then what happened, Mark?
We went into the restaurant, and first thing I noticed is no one else is in costume. So we got all these stares. People are looking at us really strange, and I was a priest, and she was Uma Thurman, and I felt like a priest counseling a hooker.
So what happened then, Mark?
Well, then we went to see my friend's band World Tribe at the House of Blues, and we just started dancing, and we got into the music, jumping up and down, and I thought everything was going really well, and then she just stopped.
Ah, now why'd you stop, Tiffany?
Well, I was wearing this bustier thing, and every time I would jump, my nipples would just, like, pop right out. I was wearing this wig, and my head was all compressed. I couldn't think, and you know what, I couldn't do it.
Again, I asked Tiffany, why did you stop?
Way too many nipples. Too many that were my own.
So what happened next, Mark?
Well, since she stopped, the music started slowing down, so I took advantage of it. I felt a little more comfortable, and I kind of snuggled up to her and put my arms, wrapped them around her, and started kissing her neck and nibbling on her ear.
All right, so obviously enjoy yourself. Could you tell he was enjoying himself, Tiffany?
Oh, I could tell. I could feel it.
I was standing a foot away, too.
All right, so then what happened, Mark?
From there, I took her back to her home, and we started talking a little bit in the car, and we started kissing again. It was really nice, and then she invited me, you know, upstairs.
Oh, good. All right. So he came upstairs. And what happened once you got inside, Tiffany?
Well, I got kind of nervous. I didn't want him to stay over. I got nervous. So, but he was a complete gentleman. He decided to leave on his own accord. It was wonderful. He was great.
Oh, good. So you're being a gentleman. Yeah. Tell me how the date ended, Mark.
Well, I just felt things were getting a little too hot for a first date, and I was ready to see her again some other time, so I wanted to be that gentleman, and I just called it a night.
Oh, all right. Well, very nice. Let's take a look and see who the audience voted for. Oh, boy, did they ever. Wow. 3/4 of our audience thought Tiffany was the one for you. If you would like another date with Tiffany, of course, we'd be happy to pay for it, Mark.
I would love another date with Tiffany.
Tiffany, what do you think? Come on out and say hi to Mark. There you go. Nice. Have a seat. Well, good. It sounds like you had a nice time.
Oh, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Any plans for your next one, either of you?
Maybe try another fast food restaurant. It seemed to work the first date.
I gotta get all the KFCs I can get, you know?
Really? Yeah. You're a cheap date. That's great.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anytime you can get away with KFC, which is good chicken, by the way. We'll be right back with another guest after this.